Hi, it's Mars Pion from GBC Live. Today we have Arto Mustikkaniemi as a head of innovation in Business Finland. He's been in China for many years and he's done a lot of great stuff. So we want to ask him about some questions in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation in China and out of China. Also, it's all about Finland. So as you know that we are in the Slush event, which is all about the startups and tech and innovative companies here in Shanghai. So before going through all these questions, we would like to have a small introduction, brief introduction of Arto. Arto, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for inviting.
You're welcome. We want to know about your story, your background, how you got in here in Business Finland and how you got in China and so on.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So I would say that firstly, I have a telecom and media background.
Nice.
So been working for around 12 years in telecom. And starting up there mostly new businesses. So as a director of new businesses in the later stage as well, starting up mobile ID business, mobile advertising business, etc. So it's always something new. Then I was recruited in between to the media company to commercialize their sports rights. So how to get maximum profit out of the rights that they have bought.
Nice.
So that is my background, and in the meantime, between changing those two jobs, I started up my own startup company, which we learned a lot. It wasn't so successbut
a lot of learning,
and we ran out of money. We didn't get the investors, we didn't have enough focus on that, etc. But that's a long story. But it was really good and great learning experience. And so I would say since 2000 and was it 9 or 10, I've been part of the Slush community as well.
Nice.
Participating in the small Slush events in Helsinki first and now around the globe as well. So, and here in China as well, this is this third or fourth. This is fourth Slush already. First one in 2015 in Beijing. So, yeah.
Which Larry was in charge.
Larry was in charge, and now Larry is in Hangzhou and running his own consultancy firm. So,
nice,
yeah.
Beautiful. So, how do you see Chinese entrepreneurship ecosystem? How is it? Or innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem?
Well, I think it's developing, first of all. I think when I came 2015, I felt like it's crazy times. People and the investors were pouring in money in the startups, which I think it's cooled down a bit.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, I think, at least for the investors. Maybe it's a fun ride for the startup companies when I came in 2015. But nevertheless, I think it's improving. There's quite a bunch of incubators, accelerators popping up all over the China. That's a bit, I think, slowing down as well a bit. But there's quite a few options for at least for the local companies to select from who are helping them. I think it has been more on the quantity than quality. So I think there's now the quality ones are coming up as well, and they are the one in the kind of let's say successful business model as well in the end. Most of them, from my perspective, are backed by the property development companies, and they have lots to learn at least, and they are of course serving their own clients. But in general, I think I have experienced it's really vibrant. I have been closely linked as well in the beginning with the Tsinghua University, so I can see lots of startups popping up from Tsinghua University. And if you compare, of course, there's the differences if you compare Finland and China. So as we discussed yesterday as well, I would say most of the companies in Finland or startup companies in Finland, most of them are saying we are global from day one. And the most of the startup companies I meet in China are solely focusing on China.
China, I mean locally. Yeah.
Locally, and I think there's a good reasons for that as well. That the market here is so huge. Market in Finland is so small. So startup companies in Finland need to think about the global markets, not only the Finnish market. So companies in China can focus only on China, and that's enough. It's big enough for them. And as well, it's competition. There's more competition in China. So if you're not focusing on China, and China is one of your main markets in the beginning, if you're not focusing enough in China, you will lose the market or you will lose for the competition. So I think the competition here as well makes you to focus on China alone in the beginning at least.
So Business Finland and then the innovation department. What is exactly you want to do? What is the purpose?
Well, I think in general we try to help the Finnish companies to find the Chinese counterparts. That's one thing. We are jointly funding the R&D and innovation projects. So we as a Business Finland, as a government agency or government company here in China, we are helping with the co-funding together with the Chinese. So we have two levels of the funding. One level is with the Chinese government, so Ministry of Science and Technology. That's one level, so it's covering whole China. Then we have other level, which is a provincial level cooperation, and there we have the Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces that we work closely with. And we are funding together the kind of provincial cooperation projects. But we are funding only the Finnish company or organization. It could be a research project as well, but we are focusing more on the company level cooperation.
Okay. How many companies you think in terms of numbers you have supported, you just try to give them more facilities and also some more help? How many?
Yeah,
It's a kind of rough number.
A rough number. We just made a study. I don't know when we started to calculate, but basically maybe last 15 to 20 years we have supported more than with the amount at least it was like more than 220 million euros.
220 million.
Yeah, so it's a big amount of money, at least in a European or Finnish scale. And it's quite a few of projects. So it was at some point it was more than 700 projects already.
So you give a grant or it's a kind of?
Well, as we are government funding agency, we are giving grants and loans, and it depends. Mostly for the startup companies, we are giving grants, and mostly for the a bit bigger and SME companies, we are giving loans.
What is the minimum and maximum?
Minimum is well, now we have a new one which is like 10,000 euros, so that's the minimum. But normally it's around 50,000 for the smaller companies, but there's no maximum.
There's no maximum.
So if there's a huge scale, massive, let's say, pulp and paper related or biorefinery related projects, that could be even, and that we have seen mostly in Finland, but as well here in the cooperation projects in China as well, that it could be several millions of euros as well. So
means companies, it happens that they want to be in China and they want to start in China, they want to launch their product here, even through this channel that you are there, they can get fund or not. They can get that grant. Yes.
Yeah, but it's more. It's not about products and services such that we just bring them here. It's more that you co-develop.
Yeah.
So we are kind of supporting and pushing a bit the Finnish companies to be early enough in China. So and in one perspective, I feel as well that that works, because the earlier you are here to cooperate with the Chinese, the better it is for your business in the end. So you need several years before you can create the first deal as well. So it takes time, especially for SME companies, that it takes time before you make the first deal. So the earlier you are here, the better. So in that perspective, we are funding the joint kind of R&D projects, not just that we commercialize this idea that already exists in Finland, but the R&D jointly with the Chinese counterparts.
Nice. So the Business Finland, what you're doing in China, are there any other countries, like European countries, doing the same?
I think most of the Nordic countries at least, and I just met my Dutch colleagues, so they are doing the similar things. I think that what's unique in one perspective in Business Finland is that we have a combination of different aspects. And that's why it was united as well. So there were two angles and two sides. One is the innovation cooperation and innovation funding, which used to be called TEKES. And then there was a FinPro, which was the trade promotion, investment promotion and tourism promotion. Now we are united as a merge as one company and one agency and company. And we are serving the companies in Finland and all around the world as well in the best possible manner, so they have like one-stop shopping, so to speak, and get the help from the government.
Nice, perfect. How long Business Finland is in China?
Well, I think that Business Finland or the previous counterparts have been existing in China more than like, I'm just guessing, I don't know the fact, but tens of years or decades already. Decades from my side, Teke's first employee was in Beijing somewhere around 2003 or 4.
You as an entrepreneur, will you get back to this community of crazy entrepreneurs?
I'm already here, but of course my role is a bit different now, and why I'm here is basically I think that I was recruited from outside. I guess it's good and bad because I didn't know government agencies and how they work at all, and I have learned a lot from that. But as well, I'm in the kind of in the surface when you meet lots of Chinese counterparts, you meet lots of Chinese governments and provincial governments and local governments and the national level government as well, but as well the Chinese startups, Chinese SME companies, big companies, state-owned enterprises. So I'm at least building that network from my perspective as well as from Business Finland perspective. And at the same time I'm meeting really interesting Finnish companies who are coming and want to come to China as well. So it's a good combination. As I said.
What is your message for any entrepreneur in the world?
Related to China, I guess.
Yeah, related to China.
Yeah, related to China, I would say that it's challenging. It's not the easy market. It's highly competed. There's lots of competition, but there's a chance, and I would encourage them to think about, because I would say in Europe, most of the startup companies are looking US markets. They want to enter the US market, and that's highly competitive as well when you compare in European markets, for example. So I think that the message is that it's highly competitive, but you have a chance if you have a good product and service, but you need to find the right partner. I think that's one of the key things, find the right partner. And saying that as well, most of the companies who come here, they need to have the funding.
Right.
Because the Chinese companies, if you're competing against the Chinese local companies, they have the funding already, or if they don't, they have the connections at least for the funding. So you need to have those as well. So that's why I'm as well scanning myself for the Finnish companies, these other options or the different options for the acceleration, for example, or incubation, mostly acceleration, who could help the Finnish companies to enter the Chinese market.
Nice. Arto, thank you so much. Hope
thank you.
We can have you in our program again. It was an awesome talk.
Great. Thanks, Mars.
You're welcome.
Thank you.